since English is the dominant language, that does not mean it has a monopoly on the human experience. This is the most instructive thing you all will ever hear me say. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. First, I just want to point out how brave everyone is, because there is not one, but there are two Florida men present tonight. My dad, Glenn, came all the way from Florida. And we also have our Florida woman, Karina, here as well. So, yeah. Thanks, y'all. And thank you to everyone who participated in the theme of country colors or traditional dress. And I made this the theme because I wanted a visual reminder of how many countries are actually a part of this community. How many different parts of the world are here where maybe we learned something different about how to live life, or maybe where we learned a little different piece of what it means to be human. It's as if there's this giant tapestry that is the collective human experience, and we all come together and thread our individual cultural threads together that reflect our collective experiences and values. I'm American, obviously. I got my red, white, and blue, and those are the threads I get to weave into this tapestry, also the stars and stripes. But spending so much time with you all has constantly reminded me how much more there is to being human, how much more there is to learn about living a life. And one way I see this reflected specifically is through languages. It's as if our cultural ancestors were pocketed out and they learned something unique about living and coined a word for it that maybe doesn't translate so well into other languages. Now, this is important because I have an ache right here, a deep gnawing ache in my chest. And the best I could come up with to describe it is a longing, some deep sense of longing. And that's a real problem for me because being good with words is kind of my thing. It's my raison d'être, as Alex might say. That I string together some collection of words. I string together some collection of words to articulate something about the human condition. That's what I do. And here I am struggling to say what this ache is. That's when I realized I needed to look beyond English for the word I needed. And it turns out this ache right here, it's already a thread that's been woven. It happens to be a red and green thread. And I'm pretty sure it's what the Portuguese call saudade. Here's a lot of Portuguese. I have this saudade right here in my chest. And once I named it for what it is, I realized it's the source of my creativity. Because yes, it hurts. Yes, it aches, but it doesn't necessarily need to go away. It doesn't need to be resolved, but it does need to be expressed. It feels as if there's some infinite thing within me clawing its way out, and when I'm speaking or when I'm writing, I reach in and I grab some small piece of it and bring it into existence to show the rest of you. The Portuguese famously did this with fado. I do it with speeches. And now I'm actively looking for words outside of English because every new word I learn is kind of like discovering a new color to paint with. Every new word I learn, it lets me speak a little bit more as the Hungarians, and where's Darina? Darina? Am I saying this word right? Szívből. It lets me speak a little bit more szívből, from the heart. So yes, we are different countries, different languages, different cultures, different, but we're all part of the same tapestry, and there are commonalities between all of us. And especially in this expat, nomad, traveler-heavy group, I noticed the commonality that binds a lot of us is we're all real restless. I think all of us have looked up one day and realized we weren't quite where we wanted to be in life or who we wanted to be in life. And we had the courage to do something about it. I've lived with Ellie this past year. Where's Ellie? And she's German. And she didn't technically teach me this word, but she did show me the thread of it by the way she lives. She showed me Fernweh. I don't know how many people know, but she quit her safe corporate job back in Germany to move here. She Fernwehed her way from Germany to Madeira to become a tour guide. And now she Fernwehes all over this island on all the hiking trails and poncha joints from here to Porto Muniz. And I think that's the experience of a lot of us, that we looked up and we had this Fernweh that we wanted to go somewhere new or do something different with our lives. So we come here because we didn't feel like we quite belonged wherever we're from. And we call this place what I think Karina and Alba and Los Dos Juans, wherever they might be, Los Dos Juans, Oh, right next to it. Am I saying this word right? Querencia. We've all decided to choose to call this place our querencia, our place of belonging and solitude. And then since so many of us from all over the world have come together and called this place our querencia, it forms one of my words in English, a community. But again, you all have shown me that community isn't a single thread with one color. Laura, she might call a community Bendruomenė, because the Lithuanians are really big about maintaining their culture, their communal identity while they're abroad. And I think that's something we all kind of do. Yes, I'm American and I wear it proud, even though I live as an expat here in Portugal. But Tamaga and the Dutchies, when they get together, they're going to make sure that they light some candles and make this nice cozy atmosphere because they value Gezelligheid. But for me, one of my favorite parts about community is how it responds when things aren't going so well, when there starts to be problems. And I don't think it's any secret that I've been the one struggling in this community this past year. I've been the one having problems, and I've learned that we all intuitively have this Latvian sense of Kopa, shared responsibility for the community. That while I'm having all this inner turmoil and anguish, trying to sort out this next phase of my life, trying to figure out who I am and what I'm about, and then Sasha and Roman and Daria and Sergey, they see that I'm all wound up in one of their threads that they call Toska. This deep existential longing within me, and then the community, the Bendruomenė, the Gezelligheid, the Kopa come together and help carry me through, especially my polski sostry, a polski brat. They come along and they say, Jakoś to będzie, Brandon. You're going to pull through. And then how do I pull through? Well, Hanukkah, she's not here tonight, unfortunately. She told me I needed to utenvaien. So I go have my little mental health walk in the wind. And then Gumi, our resident Icelandic, is going to say, this was the hardest one, I think. Theta redest. Yes. So I hope everyone has appreciated my attempts to speak a little bit of your languages, because I am so blessed and lucky that I moved abroad and everyone speaks my language. And it's made it really easy on me. But yes, since English is the dominant language, that does not mean it has a monopoly on the human experience. This is the most instructive thing you all will ever hear me say. Please keep speaking your languages. Please keep wearing your country colors with pride. Please keep weaving these threads into the collective human experience, because we need these words. We need kombinować. We need apapacho. We need Convivência. We need poszlost. We need these words so we can understand a little bit more about what it means to be human. So ladies and gentlemen, I do have my drink. So here's the toast. So there's 3 parts to this toast. The first part is to being human. The second part is to the words we use. And then the third part to my favorite English word, which I suspect a lot of you were waiting for me to say this entire time. I love y'all. Thanks, y'all.